once I got through all that, and then I beat the game, and it was very underwhelming. I haven't played it since. Once I beat Ganon, and I got the true ending because I was like, hey, let me get all the memories, all the photos, and all that crap. You know, that way I see what the true ending is, because I don't want to see anything else, because I've played Silent Hill so many fucking times, I just want to know what the real ending is. You
Silent Hills?
Yeah.
I don't even start about Silent Hills, man, dude.
But it's the same concept, the same principle. Like, Silent Hills, you just want to get to the real fucking ending.
Oh my god.
You know, like, there's like, always like 6 to 8 endings, but you just want to get to the real one. And then playing Breath of the Wild, I realized that. Without getting to the end, without anybody telling me, I was going through everything, I was like, there's only one real ending, and if not, you're gonna get like another one, and I don't want that bullshit. Yeah. So when I finally beat the game and I saw the real ending, and I sat there and I was very underwhelmed, this is exactly what I did. Again, I sat there,
got up,
I watched it, I saw it go on, and I was like, alright, cool. And then I got up, I turned my Switch off, I got my smokes, I got my booze, I went outside, I had a smoke, I came back and I went to bed. And I haven't touched the game ever since. And then literally the next day I saw Junior, and then he was like, "Oh, dude, I don't know a Switch." And I was like, "Take Zelda." He's like, "Why?" I was like, "I'm not gonna play it." So why? I was like, "I already beat it."
That sounds like the most unsatisfying feeling.
No, and it really was, Julian, because it just. I love Zelda. I've played majority of every Zelda game ever created, but there's a reason why. Like I said, my top 3 Zelda games is Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess. There's a reason why Breath of the Wild is not in there, because it just was not giving it to me. Like, Majora's Mask, do you have a 3DS?
I played the 3DS Majora's Mask. Look, man, I think it's because I'm a lazy fucking person, dude, or console. Right? No, yeah, I feel like I need to play it on the 64, dude. So, I feel like I need to play it on there, dude.
When I bought it for the 3DS, I was like, it's the same, but it's not the same. So
no.
You know.
Connor?
Hey, what do you need? Oh, you got a beer. Okay,
I got my beer, yeah.
Oh, Adam, where are you going? Right here, fool?
I need to get some ice cream.
Oh, okay, man. Thank you, dude.
You need to have it cold, man. And then
cold one.
Back with Majora's Mask.
Cold one with the boys. Yeah, real shit. I don't know, man.
I wish I just knew Nintendo.
You know what, man? Like, I think Nintendo is something.
Danny,
I feel like you're
orange slice. What's your beer?
For you, man.
My next beer.
For you, man, I feel like it's not too late because we're so far in.
That's the thing with the Switch is like, I'm kind of down for the Switch. You know,
honestly, man, if you could find yourself a GameCube and with the fucking top hits.
I mean, I had a GameCube before, but I was never interested in playing it. Like, I don't think I ever touched the GameCube, and I ended up giving it to, I think, Oscar. Okay. Just because I was like, I don't know, like, PS1, PS1 to now, I'm just like...
Can you start recording this? Because this is some real shit that I'm going to say that you and I always talk about. I've always wanted to get recorded. So let's get this shit started.
Mike is live, dude.
Mike is live.
Okay, look. This is my thing about consoles.
Oh shit!
Starting.
I thought you were gonna talk about just Nintendo, dude.
What? Oh, I want. Okay, this is starting from my first console, which was an Atari.
Okay, an Atari. Which one? 5200.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So years later, I'm gonna fast forward. I'm gonna skip all the consoles. My first favorite console was the PlayStation because I loved the versatility it had with it, with different types of games, RPGs. Fighting games, you know, whatever.
PlayStation was popping.
You know, whatever you have. And then it was the Dreamcast.
Oh,
and the Dreamcast,
Cat on Spike,
was phenomenal. It beat everything out of the fucking water. Honestly, and the next thing that came after it, that beat everything out of the water, which everybody undermined, was the GameCube. I'll tell you one reason why. The controller was comfortability.
Yeah.
You had everything. Even if you had fucking carpal tunnel, you could...
people still use it for Smash to this
exactly.
day, dude. You know?
Nintendo keeps coming out.
You had comfortability with your gameplay, and that's what people wanted. Like, you want to play a game for hours? Here you go. Boom. GameCube. Right? And then, fast forward to what we were talking about with the Switch. With these games, it's like... You're coming out with these games that are only platformers. And I respect that. And I understand... Yeah. Because you want to stick to your guns, like PlayStation does with God of War, Last of Us, bullshit.
Yeah.
But you're giving me a game that's so half-assed. It's great. Yeah. It's great. But then all of a sudden, a month later, you're like, oh, hold on. We got like 5 DLCs coming out for the game. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, you got PlayStation coming out with God of War with only what?
With no DLCs, free updates, you know?
Exactly. So what does that tell me? One, the game has never been completed. Two, you just want to pull it out there to put out for your console to get some revenue, which I don't disrespect. And three, how many more times is it going to take for an update to have a complete fucking game?
That could be said about a lot of games nowadays.
No, I know, but Nintendo has that history of the inconsistency of giving you these games after the GameCube. Actually, after the Wii in particular, because once the Wii U came in is when the DLC started racking in. You know, once the Wii had stopped its life dependency is when the Wii U dropped. And then all of a sudden you have Nintendo's like, oh, we got DLCs because you got Xbox doing DLCs, you got PlayStation doing DLCs, you got Steam doing DLCs.
Trendy and shit.
Exactly, and you're following this trend of inconsistency of pure volume games. And the one game I can say we already mentioned that gave you the pure consistency was God of War.
I don't know.
That's honestly,
you know what? God of War, I haven't felt complete and like satisfied with the game in a very long time since I played God of War.
No. Dude, God of War is amazing, and the fact that New Game Plus just came out recently, and the fact that like people are writing articles like, "Oh, this feels like a brand new game." You know, the fact that
I heard about that.
Did you see like there's a new armor set that's like Greek themed?
Real shit.
They're adding new stuff to the game.
Shit.
Like the fact that this is New Game Plus, right? And when I think of New Game Plus, I think of it's just you continuing the story again with the mechanics you get during end game.
Yeah.
But what they're saying is, oh yeah, you get what you get at the end of the game, but the enemies and the NPCs, they might have different movesets when you play again.
And that's what I value.
They're challenging you. They're like, don't
get
comfortable with New Game Plus, and the fact that there's new harder mode and all that.
Right,
it's like,
and that's what I respect a lot about a game that says we have New Game Plus. When I think of New Game Plus, I think of Tales of Symphonia from back in the day. Any Tales game is in particular, because when you go to New Game Plus in a Tales game, exactly you said, Denny, you're going to fight those same monsters, the same NPCs, enemies. And all of a sudden, they're doing all these tactics that you're like, what the fuck? Like, you wouldn't do this at level 1. You would just level 100. You're doing this at a whole other category. And now I have to revamp my entire battle strategy against said enemy.
Oh, no. And I gotta think.
And that's what I appreciate about video games, is that if you're going to give me New Game Plus, you're going to make me relive a new game. Yeah. Not the same game.
Yeah, but that's the crazy thing about Sony Santa Monica, is that, like, all the other God of War games, New Game Plus, it's just the game again. You know, you just wear a different skin.
No, I always thought that New Game Plus is just the game again, but you just carried over what you earned your last game.
Yeah, and I think it's been skewed though recently.
That's the common conception about it. That's the common.
No, that's how New Game Plus has always been until the Soul games came out. You know, like we talked about it on the podcast when I was like, yeah, New Game Plus is coming, and Akil was just like, well, what is it gonna do? You know, because the New Game Plus in like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, it does change stuff around.
Yeah, but I mean, in those types of games, well, in every single type of game, and I'm going to refer to God of War again, because I haven't beat all the Valkyries yet, but even with the low armor that I have, I've gone to fight them, and once I figure out the pattern, I'm there for like hour and a half just beating this Valkyrie. You know,
I'll tell you, when you finish the Valkyries, you're going to get a piece of dialogue that makes it makes more sense before you beat the game, you know, with Mimir.
Right. Well, I feel that
I'm just waiting for that sequel after those dialogues, dude.
Well, I feel that with God of War, they've really, whoever wrote the story is fucking.
It's Cory Balrog.
I know. I met Cory Balrog. And you know what I asked him at PSX? You know what I asked him? Like, dude, you know what we're making this game my game of the year, and it still currently is if you somehow implement his past, the chains.
Oh, he's gonna do it.
And no, I asked him then, and he's like, well, you know, looks like we gotta go back to the drawing board. I'm like, dude, you know, that'd be fucking great. And guess what? This is why I told you, Adam, in the chat, that I fucking cried in that whole sequence.
Dude, when I saw Athena,
I fucking cried, man.
I was done. I couldn't play for the couple days.
No, I was so just like,
I gotta put this shit down because it was
that part where the chains came out, I was playing. Everyone was asleep in my house. My brother's like right a couple feet from me, dude. And I was being loud, sobbing, like, fuck, dude. It hit me really hard in the nostalgia.
And it wasn't hard. It was just because I mean we're all storytellers to an extent, but it was just the fact of the matter that you progressed from here's Kratos, he's left Atreus over at what's her name's
Freya?
Yeah, at Freya's place, and now he's going to get his blades. And as he's going to get the blades, he's reliving that entire past of him just like, oh my god, yes. To me, what it felt like, maybe you guys can disagree with me. To me, the entire game up to that point was that he was disagreeing with who he was prior to the new God of War installment. He was like, yes, that was me, but I don't believe it really was me. But once he got into the boat, and he saw Athena, and he dealt with Athena, and he did everything he did with Athena by talking to her, up until he got the blades and left the house and dealt with the enemies outside, he knew. He had the internal struggle of, yes, this is who I was. Yes, this is what I did. And yes, I'm not who I was before, and I'm going to be who I am now.
If you read... you didn't pre-order it. You pre-ordered God of War, right?
Yeah.
Did you read
the comic?
You read issues. So comic. If you pre-order God of War, you get issue 0.
Can you send me that?
No, it's you have to download on a PSN.
All right, then I'm gonna sit at your house and read that.
It's a nice read. I like it.
It's an interactive comic.
Yeah, it is.
Which was it was a very big surprise for me.
Can I go to the bathroom?
I'll show you right now where it is.
Yeah.
Put that shit on pause, Daddy. You need another beer?
And a little bit, yeah.
I'll read you one right now.
Don't get a horny. It's perfect for like I guess our age group because we grew up. I grew up on God of War because man, like I don't know, my great grandma bought it for me, and then like I played that game. It was just so captivating.
Well, dude, it was
like a brand new cinematic scale in video games for me.
There's this great video on YouTube explaining why our characters that we look at that we like are changing. It pointed at Kratos, at Logan, and at I guess
Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker.
Are you guys talking about that one video?
Yeah, I think I know exactly. I watched it. It's a good video.
It is a good video.
It basically explains it's like, our heroes changed because they got old.
They grow old.
You know, I think
just like life in general.
Look at Joel in Last of Us.
Yeah.
You know, look at who he's become because of his past, and that's why God of War is such a good game. Is because Kratos.
Sometimes, man, you can't run away from your past, especially in Kratos' situation. You just can't run away from it. But that doesn't mean you can't shape yourself from it.
Yeah, because I think God of War is for Kratos' perspective, it's like he's accepted what he's done, and he's burying it because he doesn't want to. He's already accepted what he's done, you know. So he just wants to bury the hatchet and start over.
But when the point where he has to rediscover his past is like the point where, you know what, man, truly this is who I am. Like Adam was saying, you know, this is who I am.
Yeah, I think at the point when he had to go back home, grab the Blades of Chaos, which, man, it's such a powerful. Because you know the best, like it will always be with me is like when I looked back at the screen and I saw Athena, I was like, what the fuck, you know, saying that out loud, it's like, what the fuck is going, like, holy shit, dude, you know, because at that point, before that point of the game, I was thinking, man, are they really not gonna bring anything from the original series?
Yeah, anything else?
You know,
real shit though. Yeah, like they should.
Yeah,
because like, man, they gotta like. I don't know, man. I feel like it's very vital that they bring back the fact that Kratos had a family before Atreus.
And see, that's what bothers me about at the end when Freya was like, "Does he know the truth?" And he said, "Boy,
she knows.
She knows. Well,
I'm sure she knows that everything about Kratos. You know.
See, the crazy thing for me is I still want to think like maybe Athena is still around. You know, like so when that little moment happened when Kratos was on the boat by himself, like the game is very much teasing you of whether or not Athena is there.
Yeah.
You know, and that was such a strong point of like, is this Athena or is this just Kratos still regretting his past? You know, and it's not until she vanishes where he accepts it, but at the same time I'm thinking like, well, Freya could still be alive. Like, how else would these gods know about what happened at Olympus?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure they would know, but at the same time, it's like, man, if Athena's involved,
They would know every detail.
Exactly, and that's why Freya would know. And like that's it still bothers me because I know exactly why they hid it when Kratos told Atreus, like, I killed my father Zeus. And it's like, well, let's slow down, Kratos. Like, I know this theme is about fatherhood, but it's like, you killed your wife and daughter. You know? And literally, they're only saving it for the sequel. You know? Because it's going to be brought up in the sequel.
Yeah, it will be.
Because the sequel is going to be about Ragnarok, right? And who's, like, one of the main people involved with Ragnarok? It's Loki. And who's Loki? It's Atreus. You know? This is the game where it's 3 years later, Atreus is a little bit older, and it's going to be the point where whether or not he's going to become evil, you know, in this game. And I'm pretty sure Atreus is going to leave Kratos behind. You know, Kratos is going to fight. He's going to fight somebody. Kratos gets defeated, and this person that Kratos fought is going to manipulate Atreus. You know, like, I feel like that's what's gonna happen. You know, and while Kratos is there, he sees Atreus leaving with this person, maybe Enchantress or something, you know? It's gonna be such a big, impactful moment in the game.
It's gonna break my goddamn heart.
It really is, dude. Exactly, because Atreus is gonna learn that Kratos killed his wife and daughter. You know, and the fact that he didn't tell Atreus at that moment with Freya is gonna play a big part of it. You know?
I always keep thinking about like how this sequel's gonna start. I feel like the sequel will start
how is it gonna start?
Like an older Atreus, like in his teens.
Well, but it's gonna be 3 years later.
3 years later?
Well, because the game is the sequel seems like it's very heavily set with Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Right? And Ragnarok, and like the winter is only gonna last 3 years. So that's when Ragnarok starts. So 3 years later, I can only think that's the only point that the game's gonna start. Unless it's gonna pull a left field and be like, oh, like the world's already going to the apocalypse.
It's like after Ragnarok, basically, right?
Well, no, like Ragnarok already started, and we're seeing the effects of Ragnarok, and that's where God of War 2 is gonna start. You know, or God of War Ragnarok, right?
And like, you know what Oscar mentioned in our God of War review podcast.
Yeah.
The whole about how like those games never really like elaborated on time. You know, I really agree with what Oscar said. Yeah,
I watched the video about like how old is Kratos?
How old is Kratos?
So there, if you remember, it was when Freya was with you.
Okay.
So remember when you moved Tyr's temple to take it out of the water to lower the water level? She mentions it's been submerged underwater for 150 winters, which is 150 years, right? And from what we got in the game lore is that Tyr has gone to Greece.
Yeah.
Right?
That whole part where you go to Tyr's temple and you see all that memorabilia. Yeah. And you see that vase with Kratos on it.
Yeah. So
makes me think that he was there during the events of God of War series.
But the vase, I think the vase implies when Kratos was the minion of Ares. You know, like during God of War 1.
Still, that's very early on.
Yeah, so that's, and then plus remember, Tyr's dead.
Yeah, Tyr's dead.
So his temple has been submerged in water for 150 years, right? Tyr's been dead before that, right? And he's gone to Greece before Kratos became the god, or during when Kratos became the God of War, like at the end of
Norse gods have been around before the Greek gods.
Yeah, so basically what the video implied is based on the new God of War lore, Kratos is at least 200 years old.
Oh, God.
You know? And that's why I can't wait for the comic, because the comic says it takes place before the events of God of War. So I think it'll continue. I read the synopsis. It's gonna continue from chapter 0 that we got.
I'm gonna tell you right now, dude, I feel very sad. Kratos is old, man.
Kratos is 200 years old. And it's like, how much time did he spend alone from Greece to Greece to Norse?
To Norse, yeah.
To Midgard,
That's what I want to. That'd be a very good comic series.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be 6-8 issues max, you know. But you know what I heard on a podcast the other day was during, I think it was Comic-Con, San Diego. No, what was it? The last con Cory Barlog was at.
I think it was E3.
No, he was at he went to San Diego.
Oh, okay.
No, he was, where was it?
I want to say E3 because I saw him at E3.
He was at E3
with the guy that's directing Metal Gear.
No, they had a Comic. Oh, I think it had to be the Comic-Con panel at San Diego.
Uh-huh.
They confirmed that the Shovel Knight's canon to God of War.
Are you gonna tell me that? Okay, the Travelers is Shovel Knight?
No, did you play Shovel Knight on PlayStation? So there's a I forget which level it is.
I think I played Shovel Knight on 3DS.
I played it on the Vita, and you can fight Kratos in the game.
Okay.
And Kratos mentions the line where Destiny requires me elsewhere or something. And then it's like Corey mentions like, yeah, if you look in the background of that fight, it's a snowy area. So like it's before, I guess it's him and Midgard, right? So I'm like,
are you telling me Shovel Knight was in Midgard? I'm telling you, Shovel Knight could totally be like a Traveler boss.
Dude, it's so funny because I'm just like, oh, so it's canon? Okay, so he fought Shovel Knight? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then that means Shovel Knight has some deeper ass lore to him than meets the eye.
Yeah. But the fact that how old Kratos is and like we don't know how long he was isolated.
By himself.
You know, like how long was he alone in Midgard until he met Faye? You know, that
I want to say it's been a good chunk of his life.
Yeah, he got you a beer.
Okay. Decades. I would estimate decades. Kratos was isolated in Midgard, just fighting people.
And we're still talking about God of War and
how
that's
great
fine.
it is.
So what?
Let me go grab fucking.
By the way, your dad's cool.
Oh, I know, dude.
Oh, is your dad here?
Yeah, you want to say hi?
Oh.
Here, come here real quick.
I got 2 beers in my hands, man.
Here, which was the less empty one? The more empty one.
This one's more empty.
Alright, I'm gonna put that down and you go inside.
Alright, I'm gonna stop this one.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay, here's my thing with Kratos with the new God of War. Myself, I will admit, I do not know much about Norse mythology or the mythology of which Kratos originated from.
Okay, so I'll say this right now real quick.
Okay, cool.
The reason why there are no characters in God of War aside from the dwarves you see.
He's killed them all, right?
No. The year that God of War is set in is during the migration era of Midgard,
and that's why it's prior to Ragnarok, right?
And it is prior to Ragnarok, but this is the time when all the Norsemen left and went somewhere else. So that's why there's nobody else. That's why there's a bunch of
like
when
those
few. There's not even like remember like you enter a village. This one's mine. You enter a village where like it's destroyed. There's bodies, and then you fight the drag. It's because like they fled. They left the place.
Right.
They went somewhere new. That's why there's nobody during God of War.
Okay, but going
God of War 2 has to have people.
Right. But going back to what you had said to me prior to recording is the fact of the matter is that you state that Kratos is at least 200 years old.
He has to be.
But we have this gap of time that is unaccounted for, and in that gap of time is we don't know how Kratos bridged over. And I'm gonna say universes because it is a different universe.
That's what we were just talking about.
You have him bridge over a different universe from his Brendan. Thank you.
Greece.
From the Greek mythology over to the Norse mythology, and when he came over to the Norse mythology, it was prior to Ragnarok, and much more prior to Ragnarok. So then you have to look at it in retrospect, like, okay, well, if you analyze Norse mythology to an extent, and again, I do not know much about it, but you have to consider what has passed in that time prior to when Kratos showed up with Atreus, who was actually Loki, prior to Ragnarok, because at the end of the game, Ragnarok is very close to happening, and that is not apparent.
It started
Exactly. So, and if you look at the scenery after the endgame scene, when you go back to the bridge, I can't remember the fucking name.
What a tease!
You know, you see that the world serpent is not there anymore.
It's Scream sequel.
You know, you see that the world serpent is not there anymore. So it's kind of like, well, what's
true?
And that's what kind of got me. I was like, what's going on? You know. And that's when I was like, okay, well, let me just do side quests and see what's up.
I bought
but
a case.
And that's what gets me is that I appreciate a Scream sequel, But I'm also very distraught at the fact that it left you at such a cliffhanger that you're kind of like, well, what the fuck do I do now?
Bro, New Game Plus? That's what you do now?
Exactly. Now that it came out. Oh, Brendan. I got you on a... Happy belated birthday. I'm sure I missed it, dude. I'm such a fucking asshole.
How old are you, Brendan?
It's miserable.
Yeah, it was the 3rd. Was it the 3rd or the 8th?
Oh, shit, dude.
Ah, shit. Well, I was close.
Stop trying to...
Balto, come on.
Balto, I love you, but not like that.
So here's the biggest. That's the biggest
Brandon,
question: is how.
No, Balto, get the
See,
fuck out.
Okay, no, look. My biggest question, and this might be a lot of people's biggest fucking question, is how did you bridge one universe
to another?
Exactly. And then not only that, but how did you meet Trace's mother in that bridge?
Oh, so we,
and then she understood.
We were just talking about this. The comics. Trace is already born in the comics.
Yeah, so I'm sure it's going to continue from that point.
Yeah. We were just talking about this. We don't know how long Kratos has been by himself.
Yeah,
that's what we don't know at what point he met Faye.
And that's what I mean. Like, in what period of what was the last God of War installment before the newest one, plotline wise? Was it
plotline is 3?
Okay, so
yeah.
So what was the length of time from 3 towards the new to PS4 new God of War? And not only that, but one, how, why?
Oh, God.
I'll repeat it again. In-game lore. In-game lore, right? Remember when you bring out Tyr's Temple, when you lower the water for the second time at the Lake of the Nine, right?
After you kill that one dude.
Yeah, Freya mentions that Tyr's Temple has been submerged in water for 150 winters, aka 150 years.
Okay.
Right? And Tyr is dead in the game. Right? He died. So 150 years plus like some change, Tyr died. Right? We know for a fact that Tyr went to Greece. We saw those when they were lowering down in Tyr's Temple.
I agree.
Right? We had the vase of Kratos with the Blades of Chaos over a bunch of dead bodies.
Yes,
right?
I agree.
At what point was that at? I mean, it could have been when he was a slave to Ares. It could have been when he was the God of War himself between 1 and 2. Yes. We don't really know specifically when that vase was made. And Kratos in himself, he's around his 30s. And we still don't know the gap of when he left Greece into Midgard. Like, how did he get there? Right? So he's around 200 years old, based on all the in-lore knowledge that we got from this game.
And I agree. It's just, to me, my biggest issue, my biggest question is that if you've played the franchise from A to Z,
Horizon Zero Dawn, level 4 RPG,
1 of 4, yeah,
and if you've played the franchise to its entirety, and you get to the PS4 God of War Edition, my biggest question is, it's not the time gap that'll come in fruition its own. What made his rage go away to make him be the full-on wholesome Chad person that happened? And because, I mean, as you play the game up until the point where he actually displays the knowledge to Atreus and tells him what the fuck is up, and you see it climbing up to it, with Mimir also telling him, like, hey, you should probably tell him what's up. It's the fact of the matter that he's so dead set on saying no. He doesn't have to know.
Yeah. So if you read God of War issue 0,
it really explains that he's still struggling with himself.
So issue 0 is it's so much about how Kratos has grown as a character.
How long is it? I gotta reach your house tomorrow.
It might still be on my PlayStation. No, it's not. I could just re-download it. It's not that cool. It's not that much.
I can do it real quick.
Okay, so the main premise of issue 0 is we see Kratos in the woods, right, of where his home is.
Yeah.
And what was it, bears, wolves? I don't remember.
It was
wolves. Wolves were threatening him, and he was training himself. He was controlling his rage.
His anger.
Yeah, because rage is a big part of him, right? Throughout the whole series, he's finally trying to control it, and he didn't want to attack the wolves. The wolves attacked him. He was being attacked, and he just snapped. He killed them all. He came back home. He was being Faye was treating his wounds, and Atreus came in and said, "Oh, hey, you won. You know, you beat the wolves." And then Kratos snaps, and he was like, "I did not win, boy. I lost. I went there to control my anger, to better myself, and I lost. This is something that we both need to learn."
And that's the thing with Kratos is that I love him to death. His dynamic is phenomenal, but... And what I love about the new God of War installment is the fact that he has to understand that through his anger, he becomes a parent to his child. It's not just like, I gotta control my anger for myself, it's that I have to control my anger for my family.
So the big part,
That's why I love this game so much, dude. Life's lessons, dude. Life lessons, man.
No, dude, like the biggest thing you can take away from issue 0 God of War is the mystery behind the actual game. Right? Because the game doesn't really define whether or not Kratos was there the whole time. Right. You know, was he an absentee father, or was he just there and he just ignored to raise Atreus? This comic confirms that Kratos was there during Atreus' childhood. You know, and how he was as a father. Now, like, if you read this issue and then play God of War, you understand, holy shit.
It'll fill in the gaps.
Like, these feelings from Atreus has a different meaning. Right? Because if you're like, oh, Kratos was never there and he just showed up recently after Faye died, versus him being there the whole time, that's a big difference.
And not to cut you off, Danny, but because you've read it and I have not read it, and you and I have different viewing points on this, it's the fact that what you're saying is completely valid, because what you're telling me is like, those questions that I had of the gaps of Atreus and Kratos now make much more sense than ever, because I was going through the game like, what the fuck is going on? Like, was this guy never there? What was going on? Like, was he here and there, blah, 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 Santa Claus, bullshit. And you're telling me, like, no, he was actually present. And it was just a factor of, here's your mother, here's your father, but your father was a hard ass on you, your mother was fucking, fuzzy lumpkins, and it's just, now she's gone, and how are we going to mesh with the two different dynamics? And that's what the whole game is about, is meshing with different dynamics of Kratos dealing with his past, his present, his future, Atreus trying to understand.
Much for one person.
No, I get that, but and then no, that's just Kratos. But then you have Atreus dealing with his past, his present, his future, and then who he actually is as a child, because he's only maybe like in his teen years old, maybe.
No, he's 11 in the game.
Okay, so he's not even reached his adolescent years, and then he's trying to understand all these different concepts about the world and hunting and all these things, and you cannot. I mean,
it's all hitting him at once.
Exactly, and I mean, from a parental point of view, I have no children besides a dog and a cat, but you cannot put that on your children to know like that. Like in the beginning scenes of the game, he's all, boy, what are you gonna do with this fucking deer? Well, no. Shoot it the right way. And he fucking misses. He's like, no. You shoot when I tell you to shoot. And then it goes to the fucking scene. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, that was good.
But, and then it goes to the scene where he's like, okay, then you have to scope how he's gonna shoot the fucking deer. It's scenes like that where you see the dynamic of, I want to be a good father, and then I want to be a good son. But then I have these issues that are going on between the two. What am I going to do about it? And it's tough, because one is like, well, I'm going to do this. The other one's like, well, I'm going to do that. And it's fucking rough, It's a tough call.
I just love this game so much because, God,
it was beautiful.
It teaches the biggest life lesson of being a parent.
He's outside?
Yeah, he wants to go outside.
Of being a parent, man.
Brendan, let's go outside.
And it hurts me every time, man. It hits me in the feels, dude. Fuck.
Friends, bitch.
Well, honestly, Julian,
do you guys need a drink or beer or whatever?
Dude, I just have one full beer.
Adam, I'm fucked up, fam. So
I know you are, baby. Don't worry.
So the most important thing, like New Game Plus is great, but the most important thing coming out right now is the novelization of the game by Corey's father, right?
Yeah.
Now, they said explicitly there will be stuff in this book that couldn't be fleshed out enough in the game, right?
So there's extra details.
So that's very important. Well, there's two things that's very important. One, it's Cory Barlog's father, who worked on God of War 2 with Cory Barlog, which is my favorite God of War game prior to this one, And
the whole story where he said, like, dude, the whole 5 years that he lost with his actual kid, and it's like,
yeah, dude,
it's so hard. Oh, God.
And plus the fact Corey was in an interview, the question was, why was Atreus's change of character so abrupt?
Because of what he actually went through.
Well, no, like you know how fast he went from just being Atreus to being a dick. Corey explained, he was like, well, we had a section fleshed out of him gradually becoming that dick, essentially, you know, but they didn't have enough room in the game for it, so they cut it really fast. That's why when you play the game, it happens fucking like that.
Yeah,
you know,
it happens so quick.
That's why, like, that part of the game bothers me a lot.
It does.
It's like, holy shit, Atreus, like, is changing so fast. Like,
it puts us in the shoes of a parent.
Well, that too, but at the same time, like, this is too fast for this character. You know? Like,
that is true. Like, this is something he should be facing, like, say, in the sequel.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, in this game, but it needs to last longer, and that's why I can't wait for the novelization, because I hope that we actually get that stuff that was cut out from the game. You know, that's one thing I cannot wait for, is to see, like, this slow process of Atreus. You know?
Yeah. God. Look, man. You know a game is fucking good? Well, we're still talking about it 4 months later.
Dude, 6 million sales right now. It's still going. It's the...
Fuck EA. Single player games are popping. What? I need to go...
Wait a sec! Those are devil fruits, aren't they? Devil fruits. Eating any of them takes away your ability to swim for the rest of your life. You dumbass!
and rap stay goofy and raw. Rap game, goofy and law. Catchphrase doobies for all. Man, blaze strap, name spooky and claw. Half-baked, parents claim due to mature. You're perhaps saying you know where I clean. Stop me, man, you ain't in charge. I just wanna rap flames with my crew at the bar. Rap earthbound playing while you chewing on Mars. Stay floating like a cloud. My ego burned down, so I wonder where that's supposed to take me now. Down the stream of consciousness with my subconscious always functioning in stress. I conjure up my best up when I'm fucked up and depressed. And I wonder that my heart is always crushed up in my chest. When I bust, I come correct, trust me. Ugly and obsessed with fucking self-suck, we float. Hop up on the boat, fell into the sea and spit the deepest shit I wrote. So they can say I fell off, if I'm better off with this water in my throat. I keep gargling the notes,
Smoke hella herb, my mama said to stop cussing, learn to use some better words. Play the game like it's motherfucking chess and learn press it, it's aggressive, let it burn, smoke sessions. Speaking out my mouth only gets me so far. Y'all won't listen to my words but want 50 more bars. 40 odd days and like 56 nights. I'm sick of missing all these targets, I'ma get my shit right. This shit's tight, people still miss the point. The hand don't like writing, but it will rip the joint. Still tip when Bill spitty Bill shit, I break it down. Motherfuckers trying to take my crown with the basic sound. Faces, faces. Take your favorite bars and erase it. Facelift, looking at me funny when I say shit. I hate shit. Blood up at the bottom, I can taste it. I faced it. I'm trying to chase it, I'm chasing. I'm trying to chase what I'm chasing. I'm trying to chase what I'm chasing. And when I catch that motherfucker, watch my world cave in.
Are you alright?
No.